Hi everyone. We are doing the second topic of module G, which is basically G2, which is the continuation of properties of triangles. So in this part also, we are going to see some more additional properties as far as triangles are concerned. Out of which the first part is similarity and congruency of triangles. The second is the properties of similar triangles, and then something related to trigonometry, and then some specific right angle triangles, which is 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. So let's start with this, the first part, similarity and congruency. So whenever we talk about the congruent figure or a congruent triangle, what do we mean by that is the figure and the shape and the size both will be the same. So triangle will be triangle, and it will also be of the exact size as well. So the properties are all the sides and all the angles both are equal. That's about congruent triangles. Then the test for checking congruency, again something from the school days, SSS, side test, side angle side test, angle test, and RHS is basically right hand side test. So these are the four tests to check. The second part, similarity, similar figures, triangle will be triangle, but the size may or may not be same. It depends what proportion you are drawing, and then based on that, the proportionality will work. So the same shape, but size may or may not be the same. So all the angles will remain the same. This is one very important observation, that whenever the figures are similar, I mean you enlarge the figure or you reduce the figure, the thing is with the angles that they will remain same. They don't change. It is the sides, it is the linear dimension who change. Angular dimensions remains the same. So all the angles are same, but the sides will be proportionate in the regards that what proportion you are thinking. If you are thinking half of the original side, the sides will also become half. A becomes a by 2, b becomes b by 2, etc. If you are thinking the twice the original size, then obviously a becomes 2a, b becomes 2b, and so on. This is something that we will be majorly using, similarity. And once you prove the triangle similar, there are some very amazing things that you can apply as far as the solving is concerned. So to check similarity, easy part, you just require two angles, which is AA test, angle test. Then you have side angle side, or you have side, whichever way you are going about it. So these are the different ways in which you can check. Now the notes, obviously, as I said, similar. The moment you prove figure similar, there's so many fancy things you can do. The first one, if the two triangles are similar, then the ratio of all their linear dimensions will be same, and those linear dimension includes everything, which is sides, which is medians, which is angle bisectors, which is altitudes, which is perpendicular bisectors, which is in radius, circumradius, you name it, and we have it. So all these linear dimension, if the figures are similar, their ratio will also be the same. That is very, very important. The second one, if the triangles are similar, then the ratio of their areas is square of the ratio of their side. This is one of the very, very important properties. So suppose if the sides of the two similar triangles are in the ratio 2:5, their areas will be in the ratio 4:25. Square of 2 and 5, square of the ratio of the sides. Very important. The third one, if the triangles have the same base, obviously area will depend entirely on the height. So ratio of the areas is equal to ratio of their heights. If they have the same base, more the height, more the area, less the height, less the area, as you can see also in the figure. Similarly, if two triangles have the same height, the area will depend on the base. More the base, more the area, less the base, less the area covered or area enclosed. And lastly, if two triangles have the same area, then the bases and the heights will be inversely proportional. Why? Because to keep the area constant, and area of triangle is half into base into height, half is constant, base and height will be inversely proportional to each other. Then some more properties of similarity, some special cases of similarity, three cases to be specific, we are going to see. One of them is a very, very common figure that you will keep on seeing. So here you can clearly see that there is a line DE which is parallel to the third side of the triangle, which is BC. Now, if such is the case, we are going to prove two triangles similar, the one upper which is ADE and the original which is ABC. Sorry. So because DE is parallel to BC, we can say that B and D are corresponding angles, E and C are also corresponding angles, and then A becomes the common angle. So to keep the sequence same, because the naming is very important, that triangle ADE, if you say hash cross O, then the same sequence has to be followed for the original triangle as well, which is ABC, which is hash cross O. So triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE. Then once you can prove the triangle similar, there is something very unique that you can do, which is the ratio of the sides, and this is also very monotonous simple process. You take two at a time, that is AB upon AD, the first two, the last two, that is BC upon DE, and the first and the third one, which is AC upon AE. Now to write this ratio blindly, the names has to be very appropriate, and for that the sequencing is very critical, and this is the reason for that. So this is one of the first cases of similarity. The second case is something like this. Again, the two triangles, we need to prove them similar. Two lines are parallel, AB and DC. B and D becomes alternate angles. A and C also becomes alternate angle. E becomes or vertically opposite angle. Now again, the follow the sequence properly, whichever it is. If you say ABE, that is O cross hash, same has to be applied at the bottom, which is O cross hash, which is CED. Let's see what they are taking. They are taking ABE, which is O cross hash. So here also O cross hash, which is CDE. Sorry. And again, once the triangles are similar, you can write their ratios in proportion. That is AB upon DC is equal to B upon D is equal to AE upon C. The third case, where in which we have to prove three triangles similar. So let's first consider the original triangle ABC. B is 90 degree. So you know that the other two, that is A and C, which is apparently cross and O, has to be adding up to 90 degree. And when we separate that out, again same funda can be applied here as well, that one of them is 90 degree, which is D in both the smaller triangles, the blue and the red one. Obviously the other two should add up to 90 degree, and we already know cross plus O is 90. So in the blue one it is cross, so the other one becomes O, and in the red one C is O, so B becomes cross. And again, this is all required for the naming of the sequence correctly. So again, when you name it, if you say cross 90 degree O, that is ABC. If you name the original triangle like that, same has to be followed in the other two as well, which will be ADB and BDC. Again, once the triangles are similar, what you can do is you can write their ratios similar. So AB is to BC is to AC is equal to AD is to DB is to BA is equal to BD is to DC is to CB. The ratio of the sides is same. So these are the special three cases of similarity. The next part is two theorems that we are supposed to see. One of them is basic proportionality theorem. The diagram is exactly what we have just now seen earlier. Again, the theorem is there is a line which is parallel to the third side of the triangle. Then that same line divides the other two sides in a proportion, and that proportion is AD upon DB is equal to AE upon EC. And that is exactly what the theorem is all about. So you can read the official statement. A line parallel to any side of the triangle divides the other two sides proportionately. So that is basic proportionality theorem. The second one is a midpoint theorem, which is opposite of BPT. So what they say is, suppose there are 2 points D and E, which are the midpoints of the two sides of the triangle, which is AB and AC respectively. And if we join those two midpoints by a line, which is DE, then that line will be parallel to the third side, which is BC, and it will also be half of the third side. So the official statement, line joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side, and it is also half of the third side. and that means DE is parallel to BC, and not only that, but DE is also half of BC. This all is called as midpoint theorem. Next one, property of triangle sharing the same base. Let's make a small construction. X, so that means X, Y, Z, all three are parallel to each other. When you consider the lengths as well, and when you consider the left side, you can clearly make sure that the upper triangle as well as the entire full triangle is similar, because X and Y are parallel. And once the triangles are similar, you can write the ratio of their sides, which is A upon A plus B is equal to X upon Y. And this is called as the property of similar triangles. And same we can apply it to the other side. On the right side, the blue one, and you will get B upon A plus B is equal to X upon Z. When we add both the equations, on the left side, what we will have is A plus B upon A plus B, which will be 1. And on the right side, we'll have X upon Y plus X upon Z. And when, we take X common and, divide, this is what the final conclusion is. So that is 1 by X is equal to 1 by Y plus 1 by Z. And this is the final conclusion, which you can directly use now because we have derived this for you. But again, keep an eye on this kind of a structure, property of triangles sharing the same base. So you can clearly see that with these two triangles, they are sharing the same base, and three lines X, Y, Z, they are parallel to each other. Then you can apply this conclusion directly. So most of the things purely based on observation. If you could see it like that, you will be able to recollect this and apply it and solve it further. The next thing is angle bisector theorem. Obviously, there are two, interior as well as exterior. Let's do first interior. So there is a triangle ABC. There is a line AD, which is angle bisector of angle A. Writing the angle bisector theorem, what we get is A on the one side, which is the vertex of the angle bisector in both numerator and denominator. On the other side of the numerator and denominator, you write the end point of the angle bisector. So end point is D, like this. And on the remaining places, you write the remaining two vertices, which is B and C. So the relation that you get is AB upon AC is equal to BD upon CD. That is interior angle bisector theorem for you. You don't have to by heart this, you can derive this very easily with this particular methodology. We can apply that for the exterior angle bisector as well. So let's first have a exterior angle of angle B, ending that. So BD is the exterior angle bisector of angle B. Again, if you want to apply the theorem, same process. The start point of the angle bisector on one side, which is B in the numerator and denominator on both sides. On the other side, on numerator and denominator, you write the end point, which is D, and the other all places you write the other two vertices, which are A and C. So the relation that you get is BA upon BC is equal to AD upon CD. This is your angle bisector theorem, specifically exterior angle bisector theorem ka conclusion. Remembering this way will enable you to apply it anywhere else as well, as long as you remember the steps correctly. The next part is trigonometry. Now trigonometry, obviously the sine ratios, the cos ratios, and the tan ratios, these are the main three ratios. So sine is opposite upon hypotenuse, cos is adjacent upon hypotenuse, tan is opposite upon adjacent. Old Henry and his old aunt. This is a statement that you can remember. So old Henry, the letters are the important. Old O, Henry H, and A, his H, old O, aunt A. So OH, AH, OA, that is sine, cos, tan. Once you remember them, sine ka inverse is cosec, and cos ka inverse is sec, and tan ka inverse is cot. That's it. So main three ratios, sine, cos, tan, and then their respective inverses. So you don't have to remember the inverses specifically, just you can swap them up as well. That's the easiest way to remember these stuff. Next part is basically how to figure out the angles theta and 90 minus theta and so on. That is, we call it as allied angles. Now the first one, sine 90 minus theta, there are certain parameters that you need to remember. The first one is the quadrant knowledge. The quadrant knowledge is in the first quadrant all the trigonometric ratios are positive. In the second quadrant only sine is positive. In the third quadrant only tan is positive, and in the fourth quadrant only cos is positive. All silver teacups. This is something again you might remember from the school days. First quadrant everything positive, second quadrant sine positive, third quadrant tan positive, fourth quadrant cos positive. Now the second part is you always change the angles if it is 90 plus minus theta. You always change the angle if it is 90 plus minus theta. So sine will change to cos, and cos will change to sine, vice versa. Sec will change to cosec and vice versa, and tan will change to cot and vice versa. And the third and the last part, 180 plus or minus theta, the sine, the angles, the ratios do not change, they remain as it is. So that's it. Using these three ideas, let's start. The first one, sine 90 minus theta. Obviously 90 minus theta will be in the first quadrant, and because it is 90 minus theta, we will change to cos theta, and in the first quadrant sine is positive, and hence the answer is positive cos theta. And one, cos 90 minus theta, angle is in the first quadrant and 90 hai, so we have to change. Cos will change to sine. First quadrant everything positive, so it becomes sine theta. So accordingly, cot 90 minus theta will be tan theta, tan 90 minus theta will be cot theta. Then cosec 90 minus theta will be sec theta, sec 90 minus theta will be cosec theta. All are positive, all are in the first quadrant, and we should change. Then the next one, tan theta into tan 90 minus theta. So tan 90 minus theta we can replace by cot theta, and tan and cot are reciprocals, so they will cancel. You will have 1 as the answer. Same is the opposite scenario, cot theta into cot 90 minus theta. Cot 90 minus theta is tan theta, tan or cot are reciprocals, cancels out, gives you 1. So this is exactly what I spoke right now. They are trying to explain that here, in which quadrant which of the trigonometric ratios will be positive and all of that. So first quadrant everything positive, second quadrant only sine, third quadrant only tan, fourth quadrant only cos is positive, rest everything is negative. Remember this. The next one, now using all of this, ninth one, cos 90 plus theta. Obviously 90 plus theta is in the second quadrant, and obviously 90 है तो change होगा, cos will change to sine and it will be sine theta. Also in the first quadrant, in the second quadrant, sine is negative, and hence this answer is minus sine theta, because in the second quadrant only sine is positive. The next one, sine 90 plus theta, 90 plus theta in the second quadrant, and 90 hai, so we should change, so it becomes cos theta, plus or minus, that depends on the ratio. So second quadrant mein sine is positive, so this remains positive cos theta, no changes. The third one, cos 180 minus theta. First of all 180 hai, so we should not change, cos will remain cos, but 180 minus theta is in the second quadrant. Second quadrant mein cos is gonna be negative, so answer to this is minus cos theta. And the last one, sine of 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta we should not change it, we will keep it sine theta, and 180 minus theta is in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant sine is positive, so answer is positive sine theta. So the main understanding behind all of this is you should not be by-hearting them at all. Use these three filters and you can write it for any of the trigonometric ratios that they ask you for. That is why this is very simple and straightforward part. You remember it like that, you will not forget it for a longer durations. Trust me on that. The next part is the ratios now, the values of the trigonometric ratios. So obviously again in this also you just need to remember all the values of sine. So sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is half, sine 45 is 1 by root 2, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, sine 90 is 1. That's it. You remember this row, rest everything is very easy. So cos, you reverse the sine row as it is. So 1 root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by 2, 0. Tan, you can write sine upon cos. So 0 upon 1 is 0. 1 by 2 upon root 3 by 2 is 1 by root 3. Then 1 by root 2 upon 1 by root 2 is 1. Hence tan 45 is 1. And tan 60 will be sine 60 upon cos 60, which will be root 3. And tan 90, 1 upon 0, that is infinity, not defined. Cosec theta, sine का inverse, 0 का inverse not applicable, 1 by 2 का inverse 2, 1 by root 2 का inverse root 2, root 3 by 2 का inverse 2 by root 3, and 1 का inverse 1. Similarly, sec will be inverse of cos, and tan का inverse will be cot. So again, I hope you can now see the fact that only you need to remember the sine values and rest everything follows very easily accordingly. This is what the important part is here. Then the thing which is angle of elevation and depression. So normal eye of vision, if you know are looking at something which is above that, then it is angle of elevation, and you see something below that, the angle is angle of depression. Who are at a different height and they are watching each other, then that means their angle of elevation and depression will remain the same because of alternate angles, and that is what the conclusion is. Very small these things are, but you never know where they will be helpful as far as solving the word problems. Now the next part is the special right angle triangle. So there are two special right angle triangles, 30 60 90 and 45 45 90. You just going to remember two things about 30 60 90 and one thing about 45 45 90. So for 30 60 90, what you can remember is side opposite to 30 degree is half of the hypotenuse. Side opposite to 30 degree is half of the hypotenuse, and side opposite to 60 degree is root 3 by 2 times the hypotenuse. Side opposite to 60 degree is root 3 by 2 times the hypotenuse. Similarly for 45 45 90, what you can remember is side opposite to 45 degree is 1 by root 2 times the hypotenuse. Side opposite to 45 degree is 1 by root 2 times the hypotenuse. That's it as far as the G2 part is concerned, and with this we are also done with triangles part. In G3 we will obviously take on the new topics as far as the geometry is concerned. If you have any questions, let us know. Thank you so much.